For anyone interested in using Claude computer use to play Runescape for you, you need to have the camera zoomed out and it will perform much better. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting new experimental feature from Anthropic. This is related to allowing Claude to actually natively use a computer in the same way that a human would. So we'll look at this quick blog post and then we'll jump into testing some perhaps fringe use cases of this capability. So the whole point of this research preview and what we can see in this relatively short blog post is right here. In Claude Cowork and Claude Code, you can now enable Claude to use your computer to complete tasks. When Claude doesn't have access to the tools it needs, it will point, click, and navigate what's on your screen to perform the task itself. Essentially, this allows it to hypothetically autonomously navigate around and use a computer in the same exact way that a human would do, like dragging up here and perhaps minimizing the screen or closing it or opening a new tab, typing something in, and searching for it. This is currently a research preview feature, as we see right here, and it currently is restricted to Pro and Mac subscribers. Beyond that, it is also currently for Mac OS only, so if you do happen to have taste in the kind of computer you use, you unfortunately won't be able to yet use this. No, I'm only like 40% kidding. Intertwined throughout this article is also a mention of using this with Dispatch, which is a feature that recently came out where you can use Claude right here, as we see from the phone, to actually assign tasks that will be performed on your computer, seemingly very similar to something like OpenClaw. I didn't really look into this too much because personally I very much don't like using mobile phone operating systems. I'm just really not a fan of using phones for anything aside from like a text message or recording this video. So with that, we also have some additional information in how exactly this works, where basically Claude will try to go for the most precise tool first, something like a Slack or Google Calendar connector. If it does not find the ability to have a more precise tool, it will then directly control your browser, mouse, keyboard, and screen to complete tasks. It can scroll, click open, and explore as needed, always asking for explicit permission first. Now, something I saw that was kind of a little frustrating is somewhere down here in this announcement post, they mentioned that it's like trained to not allow financial stuff, so it can't do any stock trading and things of that sort, which does make sense partially, but also is a little disappointing. And I do want to say first and foremost is something I do cover on this channel a lot is open source models. Just the ability to natively control a computer like this should not be wowing folks and being like, oh my god, this is so impressive. It would be relatively simple to someone who had the technological prowess to set up an old open source Qwen 3 235B VL model, and that could actually handle autonomous browser navigation tasks and computer navigation in its own. So there have been a lot of open source models that have been able to do UI navigation, and I just kind of want to point that out because this is not something that is novel. And at the bottom of this, it is also reiterated here that this is essentially a research preview and it is still early in its capabilities comparatively to something like its coding ability or text interaction. Additionally to that, they do also have this hyperlink here for the best safety practices, and this will just bring us to a more documentation-based page about computer use and cowork, and that is where we see some of the disallowed behaviors, where if we scroll down a little, it is trained to avoid engaging in stock trading or investment transactions, inputting sensitive data, or gathering or scraping facial images. There are also some recommendations, things to avoid, and additional safety information here for anyone interested. Now, I have not at all used this, not even once, because I want to try it together for the first time, so I'm going to start it with a very simple task, and then we'll quickly jump into things that were probably not intended use cases when they came out with this research preview, but inevitably will be somewhat entertaining. So I've told it to get me the system specifications of this Mac as seen in the About This Mac screen. Now, what I don't know yet is how to trigger this, and we can see, okay, let me first load the computer use tools and then check your About This Mac screen. This is what we wanted to see, and we're seeing initially here that we're going to need to grant permissions from Mac OS to actually allow this thing to, one, capture images from the screen, as well as then the accessibility features, which will allow it to autonomously control the human input devices like the keyboard and mouse. So I will enable both of these right now. And now I'm just going to jump right back into this. I will click try again. And something that I had mentioned that I was not really sure of how it would work prior to seeing what happened here is the invocation of this actual tool. So, okay, it is now allowing us to request access, meaning that that did work, and it will invoke that tool where we saw, okay, oh, that's pretty cool. So we can see right here, Claude is using our computer. Claude is requesting to bypass the system private window picker and directly access your screen and audio. I'll click on about to get your system specs. Okay, but I think I need to manually do that and then, okay, good. And it did understand this. Something I'm going to say about this is very, very fast, the way that it's interacting with these computers. My only specific experience with stuff like this has been using local open source models, which have a significant amount of latency considering you're running them on your local hardware. And then the tool calls and the whole pipeline that gets piped in there is fairly slow. So what we should see right here now that it has found that screen. Now, I didn't necessarily want it to do this through system settings. I just wanted it to go into the Apple logo up here and then click about this Mac, which would have opened a little screen to have done that. But I'm going to say on my honest first time even using this or watching any content about it, I have not done, that was very fast. And if it did not have these specific guardrails in it, this could work very, very quickly to almost a concerning degree, considering like the ramifications of white collar work and stuff like this. But regardless of that, we do have the correct specific specs of this Mac, and I've seen enough to feel more emboldened with how we use this now. Now, old school RuneScape is a very fun game. A lot of folks, perhaps of my generation, I'm right around 31 years old, will likely have played this in some form throughout their time, maybe in middle school, which is when I played it for the first time. I've always enjoyed this game, although Tutorial Island, which is basically the first tutorial that you have to go through when setting up a new account on this game, can be kind of a pain, especially if you've done it a bunch of times. So I want to see if our friend Claude here can actually autonomously navigate its way through some RuneScape Tutorial Island, which would inevitably be pretty hilarious to watch. I don't know if there will be some guardrail or something designed to stop it from doing this, but we're going to find out. So this is a brand new account I just made. I'm not going to log it into my sick account with dragon claws and stuff like that, but I do want to see how it does. Oh, wow. Good. And now it understands RuneLite. That's very good. So it properly figured out whatever it needed for the naming convention of the app there. Now, fingers crossed it doesn't just close. Okay. I need you to click the Gillinor guide to get started. Let me try requesting access one more time now that I can confirm. It is. So Claude is going through RuneScape Tutorial Island all by itself right now, which is kind of wild. I need to move this so we can actually see it. No, why did you do that? Claude did that. All right. The Gillinor guide is greeting us. I'll click to continue the dialogue, and we see that it's printing out the coordinates of the UI element that it's clicking. So this is essentially just, it takes a screenshot, it understands what coordinates the screen is, and then it will perform like click here, and then it will give it those coordinates just for like a more technological assessment of how this is working. Okay. This thing is going slow, but it is also updating us on specifically what's happening here. So we see that the Opus 4.6, there is the like stop button next to it. So that means it's still performing. And we can see right here that Claude is actually going through Tutorial Island in old school RuneScape completely by itself. Okay, so it needs to click on this flashing spanner. And I've told it, just go through Tutorial Island. All right, it is. I like this. Although I will say, I don't like the weird orange tinge that appears around the sides of the screen when it has control. It just kind of makes it look like the screen on the computer is defective. Let's see. So what is the first thing here? Is it fishing or woodcutting? I think it's both. Exit through the nearby door. Okay. So it should now move to click the door, and then our player will go out there. I'm not going to have it run through I mean, I kind of want to, but also I'm worried that the use case, the allotted amount of usage that I have for this would get expired by allowing it to run through Tutorial Island full, but it would also be very entertaining. So we'll see. I think it's just trying to figure out how to see the door. Cool, so it referenced that it sees the yellow arrow in the minimap pointing to where the door it is. Let me rotate it. To be honest with you, I'm going to help it here. I've given it a better assessment. I accidentally opened the display settings. That's interesting. So it seems like it assumed that it did what I did. Good. Okay, so for anyone interested in using Claude computer use to play RuneScape for you, you need to have the camera zoomed out and it will perform much better. You can also now see my RuneScape username here. I'm going to just scroll to, all right, good. We made it through the door. I accidentally opened the logout panel. Let me close and navigate properly. And it does understand the minimap is pointing to where it needs to go, so. All right. So now we should begin a conversation with the survival instructor who will inform us about chopping down trees, starting fires using the tinderbox, as well as fishing, some basic skills in RuneScape. Fantastic. I need to keep scrolling down here because I want to see we found the survival expert. Brenna, she's introducing herself and will teach us survival skills. Here's a new AI benchmark, RuneScape bench. Cost and speed for them to complete Tutorial Island in RuneScape using vision and tool capabilities. The survival expert gives you a small fishing net. I want to see what it responds to that. She gave us a small fishing net. It almost seems like it's enjoying this. I know that's a weird statement, but it's just what I gather. Okay, now we need to fish. Claude is going to catch some shrimp now. Something I would like for quality of life is this to auto-scroll down with each additional task it completes, so I don't have to manually do that. All right, good. Now it has to use the net on the fish. It clicked the wrong spot, but that's okay. It did get us closer to catching the fish. Nice. It should now check out its skills menu. Now we need to speak to the survival instructor again. I'll feel comfortable stopping this after it successfully cuts down a tree and then cooks the shrimp, which will get burnt the first time, and I'm also interested to see what it thinks when it burns the shrimp for the first time. Uh-oh, big misclick. That's all right. Let's see what it... Nope. Okay, so this is kind of going a bit awry here. I think I'm going to help it out a little real quick because I want to just see it like chop wood, and it will just assume it did all those things leading to us speaking to it. Good, now it's going through some of the conversation dialogue. We've now been given a bronze axe and a tinderbox. We're going to now need to chop down one of the trees and start a fire. Now let's see if it understands that it needs to click on the tree directly to the top left of our player. Oh, no, you're not going to be able to do that. You don't have the proper woodcutting level, Claude. Let's see if it knows now. Oh, I need to go to that small tree behind me. No, it keeps trying to chop down the oak tree. It needs to understand the yellow arrow is indicating the tree that needs to be chopped. I wonder if the screenshot it sees right here with that noob chopping down that tree will make it understand what's happening. That guy might screw this up for us. Oh, yes, it did. It did. It got it. Good. It wasn't the specific tree. Good. We now have some logs. It needs to click to continue. Once it cooks the shrimp, then we're going to move on. It's been at this for around 16 minutes now. Now it needs to click on the tinderbox and then click on the logs, which will start a fire. Yes. Okay. Yep. Use tinderbox. No, you don't want to use it with itself. Use it with the logs. Yes. Yes, it did it. Wait, did it drop the logs? No. You know what? I don't care what it did. It started a fire. That's very, very well done. It has autonomously by itself caught shrimp, chopped down a tree, and started a fire. So next up, we need to use the shrimp with the fire. And they do get burnt the first time, I believe. Good. Use raw shrimp. Okay. Use them with the fire. And then I'll be interested in Claude's internal monologue when it burns the shrimp. No, you used the shrimp with the tree, you moron. Nothing interesting happens. Okay, we're trying again. Miss the fire again. Let me dismiss and try more carefully. I can see the fire burning. Let me zoom in to locate it precisely. Hopefully this noob starts a fire for us. Bro, why are you chopping trees down? What are you going to get, like 4 wood cutting before you leave Tutorial Island? Come on. Noobs. If it uses the shrimps on the tree again, I'm done with this test. Yep, okay, no, oh wait. Is it going to chop down? Nope. Hey, it understood the fire might have gone out. Let me take a fresh screenshot. I think the fire went out. Good, it learned. Let me find a regular tree, not oak, and then chop it. So it understood, okay, the fire went out. It needs to chop down another tree and then start another fire to cook the shrimp. Good. It's even identifying the non-oak trees, the thinner trees with pointy tops, as it mentions. Got logs again. I can see them in the inventory. Now I need to use the tinderbox on the logs to make a fire, then cook the shrimp. All right. It seems like it's like getting things now a little. Did they mention something in the introductory post that it can like remember actions it did to better do things? I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it would make sense. All right. Now, come on. You know where the fire is. Use the shrimp on the fire. Yes. Yes. Now click the fire. And you're done. Just click the fire. If it clicks a tree again. It misclicked. You idiot. I'm going to zoom in for it just a little because there we go. Let's see. All right. Yes, the fire's right there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Just click the fire. It misclicked again. Oh, what is it saying here? I can see it clearly. The fire is going to go out again. All right, I've had enough of this. Regrettably, it started out really well, and then things kind of went awry, but I'm going to say it was cool to watch. I very much enjoyed that. I'm inevitably going to have to time-lapse a lot of that, but it was just cool that it actually played a little. All right, so we're going to see if Claude is willing to go into WhatsApp and respond to someone for us. Now, the thing is that the Jessica it's going to be responding to has just sent a message to the WhatsApp account logged in on this computer where essentially they're pretty stressed out. So I want to see how Claude will go ahead and manage this. My guess would be it will just go ahead and autonomously respond for us, even though it was like, you'll see the message. And it does not have access with the connector. So, okay, so we can see Jessica has written something, stressed out about work. Let's see Claude respond autonomously and just handle this conversation for us. Before I type, what would you like me to say? Let's see what it does. So I'm basically telling it, you got to handle this autonomously. I'm very busy. Got it. Oh, good. All right. And of course, I will have the phone ready here for Claude. Oh, wow. Is it going to send it? Let me verify it looks good before sending it, and we should see here that it will. Yep. And I told it to keep the chat going. I'll keep an eye on the chat in case she replies, but it isn't because I'm just so stressed. Now, it's not going to stay in the chat, and now it should go back in and see that another message was sent. Okay, good. All right, now it's time for some fun. Good. All right, let's see how Claude handles this one. I don't think I should handle this one for you. Okay, heads up. The conversation just took a turn. Jessica sent, I also heard you were flirting with my mom. Like, seriously, Stevie? It's an inside joke. We have, haha, you can handle it. Just deny with winky face and keep chatting. Thanks. Okay, good. Look how fast it types. This is incredible. That's my Stevie. I have to write about this stupid AI bubble. What angle is your editor looking for? Keep in mind, this is me just, speaking to Claude. I'm going to send a GIF. We'll see what it does. Let's see if it responds with like an emoji or something. Oh, wow. Let's see if it will stop this task if it thinks the conversation's concluded. Quick heads up, she mentioned seeing you for your anniversary dinner, so don't forget about that. The chat went great. She seemed cheered up and motivated to get started on her article. Go crush that interview. Very good. She's typing again, keeping watch. I would consider this test to be a pass, with flying colors, I might add. All right, what else can we get this little guy to do? All right, the last thing I'm going to do is just have it browse the stocks app and then give me a report of today's activity. You'll remember perhaps that they said it is restricted from performing actions that are like actually executing trades and financial things. I think this would probably fall outside of that specific scope. So I would imagine it will be able to do this, and we'll see what it does. Okay, welcome to stocks. And something else that I like seeing is how these systems handle default application behavior, where it might open and then give you a pop-up like this where you have to click continue or stuff like that. Let's see, turn off personalized ads or turn on personalized ads. Let's see which one it opts to go for. Good. All right, nice. Respect. Okay, so that was pretty quick, but I did just tell it to open it, look through it, and then give us a specific assessment of how the market looks. Your watch list, 2 stocks are bucking the trend and up trading green, Apple and Nike. The rest of the watch list is in the red. Then it gives us some specific information with the top headlines. Overall, a slightly red day with most of your watch list dipping modestly after yesterday's gains. Okay, and it did do what I asked it for. I don't think any test will beat the old school RuneScape test, which was pretty awesome. So really, that's going to conclude this first look and test of Claude's new ability from within the desktop app to actually autonomously use a computer in the same way a human would. I would say this is definitely trending towards impressive. Currently, it's a little too slow and seemingly the thinking time kind of takes away from how snappy it could be. But I will say the first thing we did where we just had it give us system information about this Mac, it happened very, very quickly. So perhaps it's possible like the first request happens fast and then subsequent ones maybe are slower. I have no idea, so don't quote me on that. But overall, this is fun to play with, and I did like its ability to play RuneScape in addition to responding to someone for us through WhatsApp, which was definitely very fun. So I wanted to just do something with this because I figured it would be cool, and I'm happy I did. So with that, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching.